Hey y'all, I'm Allison Asarch from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, I'm Sean Fraser from the Ritzy Kids.
Hunters, this is Johnny from Rail Motor.
Hey, it's Shane from Blind Season.
Hey, it's Rob Stanier, and you can check out my music on all the streaming platforms.
Check out my latest music on all the streaming sites.
Check out my debut album on all streaming platforms.
Check out our new debut album.
Check us out on Spotify and Apple Music. And you're listening to our friends, Braggy and Curly.
And my favorite bands from Australia.
My two favourite podcasters,
Braggy and Curly.
Braggy and Curly.
On the
Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast.
And Rossi.
All right. So shall we get started?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to episode 171 of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast. Tonight is our final show for 2024, and I reckon it's going to be a cracker. So this is another year around the sun for all of us on the podcast, and I'm still amazed and blown away that people listen in and tune in every week. So a big thank you to everyone, and hopefully we can say you're welcome at the end of this show because of who we bring to you tonight. We've got our special guest, Brittany Elise. And Brittany, I'm just going to put you on park for a second because I've got to welcome in my co-host there in Adelaide. We've got Braggy. How are you, mate? And unfortunately, Rossi's not with us tonight. He's got a bit of a work emergency happening.
Well, Rossi's at the what's the community? Where is he at?
It's in the
Marrickville?
No, it's in the St George district.
St George, yeah. And
so
there'll be Christmas carols and all sorts of things going on. So no wonder he's busy. Curly, I'm really good. I can't believe this is going to be the third Christmas for this show.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think you're keeping count, and I reckon that could be about right. Yeah,
it's pretty good for two dickheads. I reckon we go last that long.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to tweak some things for next year. But still the premise of undiscovered music and new music and talking to amazing artists. But Braggy, you must be disappointed with the cricket.
Oh no, not really. I mean, I love Test cricket, and people always complain and say, "Why is it 5 days?" Because it never lasts 5 days. Well, we need 5 days when it's fucking in Brisbane because it's raining, So I enjoyed it, and I thought it was great today how they both teams actually tried to get a result.
Yeah.
The Australians went out, and because you got to win a game like that, you got to be prepared to lose it, and I think Pat Cummins, who's fucking, I love him, he gave it a shot. Set the Indians a target, but the Brisbane weather. So we're back to Boxing Day, one of my favourite days of the year.
Yeah.
And I believe, Chloe, that our guest, Brittany, she's indicated she's a mad sports fan. And having read her biography, she was a sports fiend, a sports person. Back in the day, Brittany, is that right?
Yeah, definitely. I think I played almost any sport and every sport you could think of. Some not so much to my mum's excitement, especially some of the ones I had to maybe tell her afterwards rather than before. But yeah, any sport I could play, I was playing.
That's
so.
I know how you feel. So it's those contact sports that maybe Mum didn't like that you sort of had to mention a little bit later on. So, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
I take it you're not so much of you're a bit of a soccer fiend from what I can understand. So I've got a boss who's a Pommy who's come over from England, and all he talks about is Premier League. So is there any hints or words that I should use to impress the boss?
Oh, there's a whole dictionary on it, but no, yeah, football, soccer was a big one. But I actually used to play indoor soccer, which is called futsal. One of my dominants, but field hockey actually, and
oh my God,
and touch football were massive throughout my whole life. It was just I had certain success more so in some than others. But you'll be happy to know that I played cricket as well.
Oh, okay.
Indoor,
outdoor, and another one. I don't know if it's fully where it is in Australia as such, but it was called Vigoro.
I reckon Vigoro. I reckon Vigoro is just Queensland. Is it? Does they play Vigoro anywhere else?
Do they still play it?
I don't know. I haven't heard. I used to play in my teenage years, but I represented Queensland for that. It was fun. It was, I don't know about the pegging of the ball. That's a big difference with cricket to.
Yeah. But I remember Vigoro, yeah.
And you're not allowed to wear pads of any sense. So
There was tough-ass girls that played Vigoro, man.
And netball skirts,
Yeah.
Yeah, but field hockey, I mean, and touch footy, that's super fit. You got to be super fit to play, especially hockey, I reckon.
Yeah, they're all up there. I mean, they all helped each other. Touch fitness is another level.
Yeah.
AFL fitness is another level, and then field hockey is another level. But I was high up in swimming and athletics, and I reckon both of those is kind of like long distance and short distance, so it helped me with any other sport.
Wow. Now, Braggy, before you kick in with your first question to Brittany, I do have a little bit of news that I've got to share, and that's one of your favourite bands, the Tailor-Made Rejects, have released a new song just in time for Christmas. It's a song called Hurt People, and
Hurt People,
H-U-R-T.
Yeah.
And in true Reject style, it is a fast-moving guitar feast. So it's a great little tune. I'll put the link of that in the show notes, but we need to get the boys from the Rejects back.
Yeah, they rock hard, those boys, but they're always gigging. I get they come on my social feed all the time since we had them on the show, and they're lovely bunch. It's always those heavier bands. They're just lovely guys, you know. They don't
match the sound.
No, they never do. And we've had metal guys on, Brittany, as well, and they're just the quietest, nicest guys, you know.
Yeah, school teachers.
Yeah, with tattoos on their face, you know. It's just it's fantastic. So, Brittany, normally I start.
Can I introduce her first? So Brittany is an Australian emerging singer-songwriter, and she's making some serious waves on the international level. She's performed in what is now my favorite place, Nashville, of course. And she has released an absolute cracker of a new song called Hi, It's Me. So welcome to the show, Brittany. We're going to talk about Hi, It's Me a little later on, as well as a lot of the other music that you've got out there. I'm going to handball it to Braggy for the first question.
Well, normally, Brittany, we want to know when we have a guest on, we want to know how the first time they encountered music and if they can remember back to that first time where you thought, oh, this music is the thing. But going through your back catalogue, there's a song called House of Home. Was it like that? Was there the old piano?
Oh, it is. Every detail in that song is true. The blanket on the couch that doesn't match, grandma's clock that chimes on the hour every hour, the old piano that probably is due for a decent tuning. Literally. Dad's shoes at the front door because he's home from shift work.
Did your parents play?
Yeah, so I'm from a musical background, not so much country music, but we listened a lot to it. So my dad played guitar and his side of the family is very musical. And my mom was the singing and piano side. My sister started in country, but is very classical singing. She used to be in the Australian choir. She made the international choirs when she lived overseas. So, but then we obviously we're from North Queensland, and so everything was kind of long road trips. We spent a lot of time in the car, and so the likes of Slim Dusty and Patsy Cline and Dolly Parton and the list goes on. All of our favorites were always playing, but I distinctly actually remember my first performance because my sister was performing in a country music festival, like a talent search. And I remember the head organizer came up to Mom because I was so young. I was just like sleeping under the table, trying to make the night. And they said, "Oh, why don't you put Brittany in the Pee Wee juvenile section?" And Mum was like, "Oh well, we're here. Why not?" And they gave me the encouragement award that year. And what's the saying? The rest is history. And I got my first cowgirl boots and my jeans that were awesome. And
was that Charters Towers?
Charters was actually definitely one of them.
All right.
That particular one wasn't. It was one a bit more closer to Mackay, North Queensland.
Okay.
But Charters was bread and butter for me growing up. We spent every year going out there. And it used to be, there's a few festivals out there that were close. But, yeah, we used to have birthdays out there. It used to be part of everything.
Because that's no longer, is it, the Charters Towers? I remember playing in a band, like, at the, they have the thing at the end. Like, thing at the end. And it's not, we weren't a country band. It was just a, like a normal rock band. But
I think Charters
is it still going? Is it? Oh, good. Because it was massive, eh?
Yeah.
And I remember going, and there was when you said the Pee Wee thing, there was always these little girls, and then there's the gospel section.
Yeah.
And it's
Bush ballad.
Yeah. The Bush ballad, that's right.
Anything goes. That was probably like now your country pop like genre that exists.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because it was pretty conservative.
Yeah.
Now, don't judge me on this, but when you said Pee-wees, I had a vision in my head for midget wrestling, or the old Pee-wee motocross around a speedway.
Motocross,
So don't judge me.
I was a pretty small child, so juvenile, I was pretty short. So yeah.
I'm just confused as to how you fit everything in, right? So when you were young, you were playing all these sports and active, and then you certainly don't sound like that nerdy music person that would lock themselves away and just play music. So how did you fit it all in?
You'll be surprised. They say if you want a task done, give it to a busy person. So I'm even just trying to think back to, I was the debating captain, the handbells, chiming bells captain. So I was definitely the nerd. I was very academic as well. I was school captain, that world. But I think I just managed to always fit them in. So I still distinctly remember throughout my teenage years, I used to go out and sing the national anthem and then literally run onto the state sporting team field and go play the sports. So they've both always been
awesome.
Double whammy, both together. But yeah, I don't know, when you have two loves, it's you just make it work. And I mean, it's so different now.
It's pretty rare, a love for sport and music. Most of my muso friends just what are you watching? Sports ball? What is it?
Yeah. I'm very fortunate like that. I get that a lot as well. I guess to the standard of it as well. Not just I like watching sport. I actually physically played it.
Yeah.
And then I don't just like music. I actually it's my career. So it's
Yeah.
But again, love it. You make it work.
Yeah, it's probably a country town thing too. Especially North Queensland. Everybody I knew played. Was out playing some sort of sport. Not everyone was doing music, but you're a little bit isolated. So
and I feel that's how you make all your friends, is through sport or the talent quests and some of those people that when I was 8, 9, 10 in the talent quest, we're now all still really great friends and now met up again internationally, which is pretty funny, full circle moments.
Wow. Yeah. So where'd you go from there? You go and do the Pee Wee thing, and then when did you really take it seriously and go out?
So
did you play guitar yet? You're a guitar player?
Yeah. So I started performing at 7, guitar at 9, piano, violin in amongst all of that too. I was pretty lucky, I guess is a word, that when I was 9 or 10, I've been performing in Tamworth every year since I was about 9 years old. I think I've missed 2, but this one particular year, I think I was about 9 or 10. And Lee Kernigan and his manager were sitting in the back of this tent where I was performing, as you do. And they came up to my mum and I. Mum's been my roadie my whole life, and my manager and everything else in between. And he said, "Oh, we love everything about her. We really think she's got potential. Let's talk again when she's a bit older, give or take around 12." Anyway, so we spoke again when I was 12, and then in the end, I supported him in Mackay, and then I used to do Toyota Park in Tamworth, opening his Boys from the Bush tours and whatnot.
Yep.
So I did that for a few years. Graham Connors, we're from the same town, so he's been a great mentor
Yes,
growing up. He's one of the best songwriters too around and nicest guys. And then Brad Butcher's a Mackay boy, so we used to do things, the three of us. Didn't fully know where that was going to lead to later. And then fast forward, I actually went to university and got my teaching degree. In sport though, not music, which everyone's always surprised for. I'm actually a HBE science and math teacher supported by drama and music. I don't know. They don't
I feel so inadequate, Curly. What about you?
Anyway, and then so fast forward to teaching career. I was doing full-time music and full-time teaching. Then I went to part-time teaching, full-time music. And then in the end, I used my long service leave for teaching, and I've been living in and out of the States for the last 3+ years, doing everything full time. So and two records with a third on its way later.
Wow.
And a lot of songs. So and
this group of singles that you put down is going to be another album.
Yes.
That's cool, because we always talk on the show. Everyone we talk to, we comes up because it's relatively new world with streaming. So, do you put out just single, and don't worry about an album, or do you do it? I just feel people say it's new, but I feel like it's gone back to the old school days, Curly, where the band would put out a couple of singles and then they'd put out the album.
Drop the album, you'd buy the single definitely first in many occasions, but often
except you can't buy it now. You have to. It's downloaded. So when you make an album, do you ever have you? I know you've got. So you had 2 albums before, yeah. I know there was something more. There was another one.
Just Be.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I did listen to some of that. Do you ever make a hard copy to sell at the thing? You do that?
Yeah, totally. I think there's place for both. Like a lot of people are just doing exactly what you said, singles, no album.
Yeah.
I think there's something super special about having a product that's finished as well. Like people, and do you know what? I still have hard copy CDs and I still am selling them constantly on tour because people, it's like a poster.
It's merch.
Like it's memorabilia. Yeah, it's memorabilia.
Yeah.
And you know what? It'll be like the record players. CD players will be back and everyone will have their collection. And I just think there's also, it's nice to have, like each song has its own journey. Each album has its own journey. And in that journey is a chapter for the artist as well.
Correct.
And I think that's important to capture. So we're definitely in a new chapter now. And it's so funny. Like I've just finished the record. That'll be coming out in 2025, but I'm already started into the next one, which that's just goes, but it's different chapters telling different stories. I mean, Just Be was almost amongst that COVID time and, the whole thing of being just present with people and everything going on. So
it's a bigger piece of art. That's all it is. It's just a bigger work of art, and especially if you can, and that's the hardest thing to do, some of the great albums are actually really good, great pieces of art that take you through the whole journey. Your favorite albums, you listen to Fleetwood Mac or something, and if the song that comes after the first one doesn't, if you've got it on rotate or like on random, you think that's not right. It shouldn't be there. So
we structure it a particular way too. Like artists structure it for how we want you to also listen to it, which is pretty special. Like you then pick up different things or a particular song flowing into a particular other song gives a totally different feeling. And so, and the whole thing should be a journey.
Yeah.
Every verse, chorus, song, album, chapter of the artist.
Correct. Well, when it was vinyl, it was 2 sides. So it was like the break in the play. It was like the half time in the play.
Yeah.
You have to get up and turn it over. And you thought, okay, well, that was the first, set was interesting. Let's listen to how it turns out.
Yeah.
When the zombie apocalypse hits, we'll be all back with vinyl and the old cranking turntables. So just watch out for that. So hey,
crazy.
I need to talk about Hi, It's Me, Brittany. It has been on high rotation in the Curly household. I can tell you that. I've shared it with people at work and they love it. And what I always find pretty special is if one of the girls was out running and she started her run with Hi It's Me, and as Spotify will often do, continue down through your catalogue. And she was chuffed with just about every song that she heard. So I'm just going to share a little bit of my thoughts around Hi It's Me, and then we can talk a little bit more about it. I reckon this is a empowerment anthem, a fire-up anthem. It's motivation at its best. And it really reminds me that there's a couple of things, right? There's a real Taylor Swift feel to the song to me. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but to me, I'm thinking I could see Taylor singing this style of song. But to me, it's Pat Benatar all fired up. It is just such a great song. And I would love to. I was thinking today on the way home that I was just thinking to myself, I just can't get there and say, it's a great song, Brittany, well done. But I'd really like to get your thoughts after you share a little bit about the song. If you were to do a duo with that song, like have a male and a female voice. So, because the one thing that I'm sort of thinking, this is a great anthem. It's an empowerment anthem. And people are going to use it as that personal drive and motivation for themselves. But I'd love to get your thoughts on if you were to sing it as a male and female duo, who would the male be? Because I'm just thinking this song just needs to get out there and just become huge. Anyway, I've said my bit. All right, tell us about the song.
Thank you for that. That was so beautiful. Thank you. It's actually funny because you kind of nailed it in obviously how you've interpreted the song, but just going back to the sporting story again and how I played all the top level sports and I was state and national level, and I was kind of always fighting music and sport, like, because I loved them so much. But in my early 20s, I actually got this super rare injury where they didn't know if I was going to walk again. And I was in a wheelchair for a while, and they definitely didn't think I would run again. And I no word of a lie, I was about 6 or 7 weeks into starting my HB sport teaching job. And so straight away, I pretty much lost that. And then I was misdiagnosed for about 8 months. They didn't know what was going on. And I got this phone call like 9:30 at night from a friend of a friend surgeon down in Brisbane who ended up being a top knee surgeon. And he was like, "Hi, Brittany, you don't know me. This is my name. This is how I'm connected to you. Get off your knee immediately. And you need to be on the next plane seeing me tomorrow. This is how serious this is."
Wow.
I had to sign all these waivers because they didn't know. Honestly, they didn't know how the surgery was going. No success stories with my surgery. Fortunate for me, I was the first, which I'm very proud to say. And then, so the whole link to this song of Hi, It's Me was I was told potentially that I wouldn't be able to do something. And the more everyone will get to know me, like I'm just so determined. If I believe in something passionately, I'll keep going until I get there. So hard work, determination, and the whole song being unstoppable was me learning to walk again and then to run again. And so, yeah, that's what the whole story is for Hi, It's Me, combined with I wanted to hear it with a sporting anthem, you know, like the team's running out and the whole thing of being unstoppable and whatnot. So, yeah, that's actually the background story to Hi, It's Me. So it's a super personal song, and we captured that in the music video. I got a young girl who's an aspiring, loves sport, but she's actually an aspiring actor. And people thought she looked like me, which was pretty funny. So, yeah, so she played out the story of me basically wanting to be in the Matildas, the Australian football team. And, yeah, we played that out, but we filmed it in Nashville. So, yeah, it was that's the story.
I'll tell you what I reckon. I reckon you said at the start that we didn't. I'm not really a country. I wasn't really a country. I reckon you're like a rock chick somewhere at heart there. It goes back somewhere because it's in your personality. And then I listened to this song, and there's a freaking rock guitar solo in it, which
I know
I don't hear often. But it's also pedal steel in there as well. So
we every song we treat differently, and I have like a mission for every song to be like there's a particular element that I'll add in. And so this one was if you know Ella Langley, who's blowing up at the moment as an international act, that guitar solo is her lead guitarist. His name's
Yeah,
Ben.
I was going to say it's a burning guitarist. You got
Yeah,
on
and
that-
so
on that
he
record.
yeah, and his dad is Michael Flanders, who's actually my producer. So that's that connection. And yeah, we wanted to have. I always, anytime we can have an electric, awesome solo.
You're up for it?
It's in there, yeah. And then we kind of did like the different ending as well, like vocal start and then really strong finish as well, in a different way. So yeah, there's lots of different elements in every song, but I feel like a song is based on what story you're telling, supported by a great sound. And
Absolutely.
so I think honestly at essence, that's what country music is. Real people telling real stories. So,
Well, Curly,
Hi, it's me, the one you thought would never be. Still out there running slow and steady. Couldn't see the spark, my fighter's heart. Hi, it's me, the one that got to prove you wrong and kept on rising through it all. Had to hang in tough, make my own love. Had to be my own champion. Had to be my biggest fan. Give myself this fighting chance. Had to tell myself I can. 'Cause fear will never break me. Words will never shake me. I defy the impossible, ride the improbable. Hello, it's me again.
well, Curly picked up on it when he said Pat Benatar there before. So, I mean,
yeah.
that's pretty close, Curly. Pretty spot on. You're only a punter, Curly, but you got it. You always pick it.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard this song, and Jules sent it through probably 6 weeks back, and I think I shared it with you guys on our message chat, and the voice was the first thing that got me. And then as you really tune into the song and you get the story and you get the words, and you just think, wow, this is just so powerful. So it's a great song, and it just deserves so much success, because people need to align their dreams with what they're hearing in this particular song, I think. So just going back to my out of the box question of, if you were to sing it as a duo, who the male voice would be that would accompany your voice, I'd love to get your thoughts on that, because I've got no idea who could do that job and harmonize with the power in your vocals in that particular song.
I'm going to partly answer your question, and this is just because this is how I wrote the song, which is kind of interesting you've brought this up. Male vocalist, I'm actually unsure, haven't thought about it. But when I first wrote this song and recorded it, I was like determined, and it's still on the list for the new year, to get it in Kelly Clarkson's hands. Because when I wrote this song, she was an inspiration combined with Adele, even though it's a country song. But so if I was to do a duet with someone, and it's not gender related, it would actually be Kelly Clarkson.
What a
Can
voice!
you sing in that song? Yeah.
Yeah. Kelly Clarkson, definitely. Yeah. I get little snippets of her show sometimes, and I love it. She's just so She gets so many cool people on the show.
I'm not sure on the male, but it's only because I haven't thought it through, because in my head it's always been Kelly Clarkson. So let me come back to you on that one. But yeah.
Let's talk about you in and out of Nashville. You go there, and you've been over there, and we read in your bio you played at the Bluebird Cafe.
Wooshka.
But there must be 1,000 women who have got great voices like you, who are attractive like you, got good songs. How do you stand out? How do you stand out from all that?
Honestly, I think, and this is what I live by with my whole career, it's being honest, being authentic, writing songs and stories that suit you as the person. Like, I feel like a lot of people try and put out songs that sorry, not a lot of people, but some people like to put out songs of what they think the listener wants to hear. And
Yes.
I feel like we're like, even as a listener myself, I see through that. And I think that there's in Nashville, it's funny, like you could go to the coffee shop, the clothing store, and you will have a top of the line person. But it comes back to a music career is also a business. And I think for me, I'm so business driven and I've set up the business for success. And I've never wanted something so much in my life as this full-time country music career. And so, and then surrounding yourself with like-minded people plays a part. Showing up, like, I mean, I've literally flown across the world because this is the be-all and end-all for me. So I think being Australian in another country also helps. They just make us repeat questions and answers. I had that at the store once and I was very confused what was going on, but I found out it was because she loved my accent.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's honestly hard work, being authentic and just being true to you. There's listeners for every song and every artist in the world. Like there's a place for everyone. I feel like
That's
music
true.
is the biggest language in the world, you know, and so there's songs for being sad, there's songs for being happy, there's artists that you want to see because you love them as a performer. So I feel like, I don't know, when I've gone over there, I've had so much interest from both industry and Americans to back on to all the work I've built in Australia. I don't know. I'm just giving it a red hot go and we see where that takes me.
This leads me to another question. It's because Curly and I, country is not really, because of Jules, we get a lot of country people on the show, but it's not really the thing that we listen to most, Curly, would you say, is it? Although we've learned so much now.
And more so, it's something we listen. Well, I know I listen to, and it's interesting what Brittany was saying, because often we've talked about there seems to almost be with some artists a cookie cutter approach that this is what's working at the moment, so this is what I've got to put out. And it's awesome to hear the authenticity, and we hear that in your music as well. So sorry, Braggy, keep going.
No, that's right. That's kind of what I was. I mean, I like country. I like. Not like you, Curly. I do like Taylor Swift. I think she's fantastic. Girl power. I love it. So
can I just say,
daughters.
The other day over breakfast, like we normally put on a playlist on a weekend while we have a leisurely breakfast, and for the first time ever, I just said Taylor Swift. Let's just put on a Taylor Swift playlist, and I can honestly say that was just such a nice background music, and I actually knew more songs than what I gave myself credit for.
Mate, anyone that can go on the Tiny Disc concert just with her guitar and the piano, and just freaking absolutely blow me away. That's where I thought, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was, because it interests me, country. It's a conservative genre of music, really, and it's in a conservative state in America, and because I'm still thinking about setting yourself apart, and there's not a lot of protest songs in country music. I think the Dixie Chicks went there, and then they got shunned. And I noticed, Brittany, that you're really involved with helping out underprivileged women and giving women a voice in your Raise Your Voice thing. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, is there an issue that really burns in you that maybe, you know, it might make waves. I don't know. It might be the publicity you want, but you know.
I don't know. I haven't fully, I haven't done that song or record yet. But who knows what the future holds? But I feel like it's life experiences too, though. Like I'm
of course
anything that's happening right now. But yeah, it's always an interesting one. But again, if people are being authentic, you're going to have people that love and don't love every song in the world. Like there will be people that love it and people that don't.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, and most people when they listen to music, because I know my wife's the one, she doesn't want to listen to freaking Bob Dylan or one of the punk bands that Kelly and I like preaching about something. She wants to listen to "Let's Get This Party Started" which
Ah,
is
that's
which is
shame.
which is a killer for you. Although I was thinking maybe someone needs to write a song for Curly and I that's let's shut this down and go to bed early. No one. no one.
Most in that club these days.
Yeah. And Braggy, it's a good little segue there because Get This Party Started is just
Oh, it's a
anthem
cracker.
rock. It's
Yeah.
anthem rock at its best. So how does that go over live? Tell me the live. How does that work? Must be awesome.
It's actually one of my favorite songs to play. Not fully giving away the whole live show, but I actually have a drum off. That's how we start the song. Between myself and my drummer. So
I saw a little bit of that in the clip.
Yeah. I mean, we're not professional drummer by any means, just an extra added part to the show. And then we sing the song, it goes off, everyone's having a good time. And then I actually throw some of my all-time favorite party covers into the middle of it just to involve the crowd as much as we can. So it's always a special part of a show when we do that one. And I think it was my second number one on Australian country radio, regional chart. So, I mean, everyone loves to have a good time. So,
Gimpy Muster, that must go off. Gimpy Muster.
Oh, it was. I think I actually released it for Gimpy Muster the year before this year, so 23. But everyone's just, that's what we go to festivals for, is just to have great people around us with good environment, great music.
Do you normally
Like
get
good friends and good times and dancing till sunrise. Sipping champagne till the sun comes out. Hands in the air, lift the roof up. Kick out your weekday blues out on the floor. You're off the clock, time to cut loose. Tonight's the moment to light the fuse. Here's what you gotta do. Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started.
You normally had the same band. I noticed you play, and this is interesting because I've got a mate who lives in Agnes Water. It's a good friend of the show, Waxy, and I go up there every now and again. And we've actually played at the festival there, the Blues and
Agnes
Roots
Blues.
Festival.
Yeah, we've done
And
that
I was looking at your gig sheets, and I saw you play at Drift and Wood. I played there as well, so it's a great little balcony there, and always a good crowd on a Sunday or a Friday. So do you normally have, when you go to the festival, same band? Like you have a group of people?
Yeah, we try to, for sure. Obviously, Australia is so spread out. Sometimes not everyone can be with us the whole time. So I kind of have like a couple of core musicians almost in every state, I feel like, at the moment, and country. But I have a core group that plays with me as much as possible. But and also it depends on the travel arrangements too.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
So do you write by yourself? Is that your process, or do you use primarily write by yourself and then do a collaboration to maybe fine tune it? What's your songwriting process?
Yeah, well, some of the songs I've got out, I've got a mix of everything. Sometimes I'll have an idea. It's one of those things, like obviously from sport as well, like teamwork makes the dream work. And so I find the more minds I can put in a room, especially if they're living and breathing it. So I love writing in Nashville because that's what they do full time. We're writing 2 to 3 times a day. We all are. And so, I might have had 55 songs to pick, the 2 that you're now hearing. Do you know what I mean? And so I love taking in an idea, whether it's a title. I actually took in Hi, It's Me thinking it was a line, and it ended up starting the song and then being the title. Sometimes I take in a riff, like a guitar riff or piano riff, or sing it into my voice memo. But I love writing with people. Normally 2 or 3 is kind of my happy medium, but then I've got plenty of songs out that I've written by myself as well. So
it's a shame there's nowhere in Australia like that. I know we have Tamworth. I think we talked about this last week.
Yeah, we did.
Tammy Moxon. But that Yeah, like you have Tamworth, but that's kind of just the festival thing. But there's nowhere like Nashville where a whole bunch of country people can go and do that writing thing like they do. And, she was saying maybe the Central Coast is kind of a bit like that, New South Wales.
Yeah. There's actually a couple at the moment. I think I've been to 3 or 4 in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I've written, David Carter from Carter and Carter. I wrote with him. Sorry, I went to the Australian Academy when I was 14, 15. That's when I first met him. And then a lot of my songs now, full circle moment, I've actually written with David Carter. We just click co-writing wise, and he actually runs a retreat. I think they do 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay.
And so there's a couple around. There's one that started around the Gympie Muster, like just leading into that. The DAG Songwriter Retreat that happens just outside of Tamworth happens normally twice a year as well, like a winter, summer.
Yeah.
So there's a couple around. I guess it's just a matter of kind of finding them. But yeah, I mean, with Nashville, you can go any day, any week, whether it's weekend or weekday, and line up top level songwriters.
Yeah. Songwriter retreat. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, Australia must go to a million places that you could do that in.
Yeah.
Especially in the outback or on the coast. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes they book out like kind of like the ones that have kind of dorm rooms and then a kitchen connected. So we all go and take like almost all the phones go in the drawer for the weekend.
Oh, that's good.
And then we just rotate. So it'll be like the Carter and Carter one. I think there's about 20 of us, I think, that went, or just less. Plus 5 of your top industry people come in and co-write as well. So yeah, it's cool. It's lots of fun. I always walk away with at least 5 or 6 songs from that, and it might be 2 or 3 days.
Wow. So I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, and I think that's the really interesting thing around Nashville, because you've got the very public side of Nashville, which is the Broadway and the honky tonks and little places and dive bars that lead off from Broadway. But then there's a whole industry that exists, the songwriters, the session musos, the recording studios that that the tourists don't see necessarily and they don't feel, but the vibe is there. So that's the fascinating thing about Nashville. And you would just love to have Nashville happening somewhere here in Australia, whether it's, as Rossi likes to call it, whether it's in the capital city of Sydney or it's somewhere else. But it's, that's what's needed somewhere. Someone's got to take the punt. A city council's got to say, let's make this music city and really stick by their guns. Because
would you go anywhere? Because I'm sure there's more than just. I'm sure Texas, like Houston, and there must be same sort of scenes, music, country scenes. Because not everybody in the country music industry in America is from Nashville.
No, and there's different types of country.
You've got guys like Post Malone now that's doing country,
and they're all in Nashville now, which is pretty funny. So Nashville's the hub. Texas has definitely got a hub. LA's got an amazing writing scene as well. Just a bit more, maybe not directed specifically at country, but I mean, America, you can be crossing multiple states in the same day because it's all quite close together. So you can just travel. I mean, I have a really good friend that I hang out with regularly in Nashville, but they actually live in Canada, but they travel down like every second week because they can live in their home country, but still be where they need to be.
A lot of good country people come out of Canada.
Yeah, there is quite a few. It's a bit like us. I feel like they're really picking up. And the UK is another one as well.
Really?
Yeah.
It's got a boom, hasn't it? I don't know if it's just because we get more country people on Curly, but I feel that there is it seems to be, and it's probably Taylor that's led that. Around the world.
You look at the festival scenes, and once again, we've talked about this. A lot of what you would potentially maybe call mainstream rock festivals, a lot of them seem to have fallen over or stopped existing, but the country music ones, or the ones dedicated to that people, the fans that love country music, are going strong and getting stronger. So we're talking about going to Tamworth. I mean, so it's those things that is making the scene very, very viable. And I'm sorry, Brittany, but I don't necessarily see you as, and I know country's your genre, but man, you can rock. So you would
that's the
be
first
just
thing I thought.
yeah, you would be just as home. I would be really comfortable seeing you at a suburban hotel supporting the Hoodoo Gurus just as much as what, just as much as what your fans see you supporting Lee Kernaghan. So,
have you done that, Brittany? Have you fronted the rock cover band?
No, that's an interesting one, but I feel like this is what I mean though, and country itself is so broad now.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's like some of my songs will be country, like Lucky is very country, and then you'll get country rock, which will be like Get This Party Started, probably Almost High It's Me, and then you'll get my next list of songs and a couple like Find New Music and stuff from my old catalog. They'll be like country pop, and I think it's just, I mean, that's the beauty of it, and it keeps me so intrigued. It's just like, what can we bring? I love when people are like, you should be country rock, or you should be country, or you should be country pop. Like, that's the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it should just be you, like you say.
Yeah.
The song creates what it is, and people have a vibe for what that song's going to look like. You spoke about Lucky. That song once again has got such amazing lyrics and a really great sentiment behind it. And it's so many times we look at a successful person or anyone who's doing well, and we just say, oh geez, I wish I had your luck, and they don't necessarily look at the hard work and the dedication and the commitment that comes in behind it. So once again, a really great message towards that song. And I love the lyric that says, I'm a fighter and a fireball, and for whatever reason that just stands out to me. So once again, that's just a great song with a great sentiment. And once again, link back to authentic and I'm presuming what you've been going through and what you've dealt with.
Yeah, and I think it's anything. Like, I mean, when people ask me what success looks like, it honestly stems down to, for me, I've put my story into a song, and then to have people contact me and say, hey, this is I love this song because this is how it relates to my world. I actually think that is the best part of a career, and then sharing them at something like Gimpy Muster Live and everyone's singing together but sharing their own emotions. And Lucky was a massive one that I just wanted to be really real with that song, because someone actually said it to me, that everything that happened to me in Nashville was luck. And it's funny because I know that I've been very fortunate to have a voice, but that's 15 years of training as well. It's a muscle.
Exactly.
So you got to get better as well. It's endless practice. I mean, I saved up and bought my very first car. That's how I got a nice car. I saved for 10 years, then used my teacher long service to be able to go to Nashville, Tennessee, to be able to pursue this. And I almost started at the bottom financially, and obviously coming from another country, you need to start at the bottom and do your time. And so, yeah, it was so funny. Someone just said it to me before I went to Nashville. I think it was the first or the second time. And I remember thinking, I know it might look like luck, and I'm still very fortunate. Like, I've got a great support network. I was born into that. That's lucky. But the rest, I was like, oh, you just don't, social media is a snapshot too. You don't see, no one sees the full.
You worked your ass off for it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Time, what the rest of the world could never see. The 1,000 miles, all the energy, the sacrifice, the endless nights that still brought me to my knees. I'm still holding on through it all. I'm the fighter and the fireball. Though bridges burned and made wrong turns, it's not laid out at your feet. It might look like luck. It ain't luck to me.
For it. Exactly.
Yeah. And
I mean, you're right. We're all lucky to be born in this country and not be be born in the Ukraine or wherever, you know.
Yeah.
But I get it so much, and I think I've told this story before. This is a perfect demonstration of it. Playing in a place here near Adelaide, Victor Harbour, just a cover band, and you play a set and you have a break and you go to the bar. As you do, and you have a drink, you have a beer before you play the next set. And the guy behind the bar says to me, "God, you guys are lucky, aren't you? You just, you know, you get up there and you get paid and you just come here and then you can have a drink." And so I said to the guy, "So I tell you what, mate, you give me an hour's training and I'll go behind the bar and pour beers, and I'll give you an hour's training and you get up there and see how well you go." They don't realise how many thousands of hours just standing up there and doing that.
And also they'll just step on the stage and freak out. They'll be like, "Whoa, I can't even speak in the microphone." Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, unless they're really drunk, then they always want to get on the microphone. But that's
100%.
You don't realize people's story. Nobody knows anybody's story in its entirety unless you're living it with them. And so I think that was my favorite thing with Lucky as well, was how many people came up and said, you know, I was in the droughts on a farm, and this song was me through and through. You know, this song was when I first started being a parent. Like, I wasn't lucky. My child doesn't just naturally sleep through the night. I've spent, you know, a year getting to this moment. And so, it's seriously the best part. And I remember a grown man coming up to me at Gympie Master 23, I think it was, and he was hysterically crying, telling me that Feel the Fire, my song, saved his life. And
wow.
It was you wouldn't even necessarily hear that song and think from that perspective until you put it into your own story, and that's how it impacts you, if that makes sense. So.
And that's the beautiful thing about creating music. It's that everyone's going to put their own story. And just while we're on Feel Your Fire, there's a couple of, like, I get visions when I'm listening to music, and you know, Get Your Party Started, to me, that's anthem rock, or it's, you know, that go off in a honky tonk in Lower Broadway, that's for sure. But Feel Your Fire to me is one of those amazing songs that, and I've sort of called it a stadium song, because I reckon that's a song that you could just be quiet to in certain parts of it, and you would hear the audience sing it back. So it's that whole stadium song singing it back at you, sort of a feel to that song. So once again, that's a great song. I really enjoyed that, but I could see that on stage with the audience just singing it back. So I don't know if they do that. Cool. Do they do that?
Yeah, Curly, you'll love this. Someone came up to me once in the crowd and said, "What's it like to be an artist?" And I remember thinking, like, you know, when you learn something, you forget what it was like at the start because you're just in your flow of whatever it is, your job. And I said, that's actually a great question, because it's the best job and this is what it feels like. And so I went and sat down and penned Feel the Fire. Oh. And then literally the whole point, I started the song with the sing-along part, which is actually the bridge. Then I moved it to the start of the song. And now it goes off. And I mean, that song's been its own journey. And for this exact reason, like, I wrote it for the Gympie Master Talent Search competition. And that song was part of my win. And then that was the first time I played that song. And then the second time I played it was 5 hours later on the main stage of Gympie Master to the thousands of people for my winner's performance. And everyone was screaming, Feel the Fire. That's cool. To the point 2 years later, we're on our Australian tour at the moment, and one of the ladies that stood there when I got crowned, stood in the front row while I played Feel the Fire on the main stage, showed up to one of my shows 2 weeks ago and just said, I still love this song just as much. Wow. And that's, what more can you ask for? It's the best part of the job.
Burning everything that I'd outgrown. You might say I'm crazy, and I just might agree, 'cause I feel the fire. It burned away the doubts and helped me believe. Gave me the courage to be all I can be. Do you feel the fire? Do you feel the fire? I might make some mistakes, but I got what it takes to feel the fire.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Cool.
And that would just make you feel so awesome that people have aligned or connected and just really truly made that song. So yeah, the minute I heard the opening sort of, what was it, the bridge, is that the wording I'm using?
Yeah. It's
You
become the
just got
second
that,
chorus.
yeah, you got that whole sense of getting that back at you. And yeah, I think I would absolutely love to see that live. The other thing I just want to say is that I would really love to sing back up on Get the Party Started. I reckon I would have a ball on that song.
We have too much fun.
In the honky tonk bar in New York.
In the honky.
We've got tambourines, we've got
Yeah.
shaking microphones.
Oh, Curly, you'd be good on the tambourine.
You may need the microphone turned off, but I'm more than happy to try and.
Hey, let's talk. I got a song. I think about another one of your songs that I thought was really cool today. And it's kind of a do-it-yourself. The way the industry works now, especially with Unfiltered and Undiscovered, is it's do-it-yourself. So I'm talking about these film clips that I've watched on the thing. Are you you obviously have someone help you with those, but you got to fund that yourself, obviously, and pay for all that. But I really like how the song Something About This Place, it's not about Nashville, but is it? It's about like your hometown or something. That's what I'm thinking. But it's filmed in Nashville, so you got the double thing there. I guess that works. It works for the American audience as well, I guess. So
Yeah.
I just thought that was cool the way you did that.
Yeah, I wrote that song about a small town in central Queensland called Tanham Sands, and then I pulled in.
Tanham Sands, yeah.
Yeah, I pulled in parts of my hometown, which is Mackay in North Queensland. Then I moved to Nashville for a few months, and I was thinking. So Tanham is this beautiful small town, a beach town.
Mm-hmm.
I walk into the coffee shop and my coffee was already waiting with my name, like "Have a great day, superstar" or something like that, because they just knew my coffee order and what time I'd be there. And then I moved to Nashville, and the coffee store at the end of my street started doing the exact same thing. And when I went to Nashville, and as you know, Curly, because you've just been there, it's like this big country supportive town that welcomes anyone and everyone. And so I actually finished the song in Nashville with the ideas from my small town vibes and all the things we used to do here. And they've got lakes and stuff there, which we used to do in Mackay, and, go jump off cliffs and go jet skiing or whatever, go out in the boat. All those same things I was doing in Nashville. So something about this town came together so quickly, capturing all of that. And then I was in Nashville at the time. So we wanted to capture my time in Nashville in a music video as well. So remember I was telling you about we try and do as much as we can for every song.
we know you try and do as much as you can.
It's being efficient too, isn't it? It's I'm here, let's do it. So let's talk a little bit about TikTok and socials. How do you feel about that side of the business that you've now got to really sort of master, as well as being on top of everything else from songwriting and singing? You're then expected to get out there and connect with people on socials. How are you finding that?
Yeah, look, it's not my absolute favorite, but it's something exactly what you said. It is seriously part of the business. And secondly, we can capture audiences on a worldly basis more than ever. And if you take it from that perspective, my music's now being seen in a 10-second to 20-second to a minute video across the world that may have never, ever heard that song or heard of me. So it's pretty magnificent in that sense. And that's what I've been trying to capture as well. Authentic music, personal, like this is me as a whole, because at the end of the day we fall in love with artists too, not just a song. A song is like a short-term thing, but if you love an artist, you love all their songs long term. And so that's what we're capturing, and now I love it. It's just part of the routine, and there's ways to do it that it doesn't engulf your whole every minute of every day.
Yeah. It's the trade-off, isn't it, with the business now? It's like you might, you're getting paid 0.0013 of a cent for every stream on Spotify, when I had dreams, you'd never dream of reaching anybody outside your hometown unless you got in the truck and drove. So it's kind of a trade-off. Yeah. So it's not all that bad.
No, I mean, we get our kind of streaming and whatnot summaries at the end of every year, like you do as a listener. We get it from an artist perspective too. And to see, I mean, I think in 24, which we didn't have a huge release year, we've just really started again with Hi, It's Me, and we've got a big run coming, but it still made like 120 or something countries. My music did in 2024.
Wow. Yeah. That's cool.
A lot of countries for me having only traveled to Australia and the US in 24.
Yeah, that's cool. What countries are you big in apart from US and Australia? What's like one of the weird countries that people listen to you?
Honestly, there's a few surprises in there. But top 4 would be Australia, US, Canada, and the UK, which is pretty spot on for what's going on and what we're releasing at the moment. But like Africa, there's honestly there's lots places in Europe. You can't predict it, and you can't predict the song either.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is. We've been going for just over an hour now, Brittany. So it's amazing how quickly time does fly. And I just want to make just one more comment in relation to some of the songs that I've been dialing into, and a lot of them share that there's that authentic story that you're sharing in your music, but the one called Girl in the Mirror is just filled, to me, it's a song of gratitude. That's what I've sort of read into it, or that I've listened to it, about instilling belief in others and that whole gratitude. I'm presuming it was your mum. So you're seeing that family story come through in your music as well. So House of Home, Girl in the Mirror. So that's I'm taking that's pretty close to you, that upbringing and how people have instilled that belief in yourself.
Totally. Girl in the Mirror is actually one of my secret favorites for a personal level. I mean, my mum has been my number one supporter right back to when someone said you should put her in the talent quest. And she's almost been to every single one of my gigs nationally and internationally. I think she's only missed maybe 2. Like, she will travel and come and watch. Like, she's just been my biggest supporter.
Has she got the paper cuttings out of the paper?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they're loving it.
That's awesome.
But like, to the point that it's what we're talking about before with Lucky, there's ups and downs. Any person in their life, no matter what work you're in, you have good and bad days. And sometimes it's like, music is a tough industry. What does success look like, and can you make it? The never ending questions, let alone you get the opinions of the world as well. And mum, even on the days where I was like, righto, I'll just go back to doing your normal 9-to-5 job, and it's all too much. Mum was always like, if this is you, like, we'll make it work. Like, together. Like, we've had this massive support, my sister, my dad, everyone's in on it as well. But yeah, mum, believed in me on some of the months or years that I needed a break from that crazy world. And this was the tribute song, and I wrote it in Nashville, and then she literally landed about an hour. So she landed that morning, then I wrote the song, and then I came home and said, hey, Mum, do you mind if I play you a song? And stripped back on the guitar.
Oh, my God. I played
she's going to be bursting into tears. We were hysterical. And then everyone's, again, putting their own story of their own It might
Yeah.
not be mum. Not everyone's got
Mm.
an amazing mum like me. It might be a dad, an auntie, uncle, grandparent, family friend,
Mm.
but someone that just believed in you. And Girl in the Mirror is probably my most raw song. It's a piano song, which is different for our sound as well. But we just wanted to capture, and everyone said they can hear it in my voice too, which is pretty
That's good. That's good. That's where the real true, identity and staying true to yourself is authenticity comes from. When you can hear that.
Yeah, it certainly comes through. Now you're playing Tamworth again, so
yes,
Absolutely.
we got to ask the question, Curly.
we are, but we're also going to up the ante here because when we have our guests on, and we do make it just a subtle request that if you are on the red carpet going to the Golden Guitar Awards and you're being interviewed, please look straight down the camera and just simply say, shout out to the boys.
You don't have to say our names or the name of the show or anything. Just shout out to the boys. We'll know.
We'll know. But I'm also going to put you on the spot and say, when you're doing the same thing at the CMA Awards in Nashville, we expect nothing less than Brittany saying, shout out to the boys. So
Challenge accepted. Maybe the Grand Ole Opry boys, or what? Or straight down.
Grand Ole Opry. That would be better for me than the CMA Awards. The Grand Ole Opry.
Well, stay tuned. That's the next goal. So.
How did you get to play Bluebird Cafe? What's the story behind that? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was. I was just. I was playing in Nashville, and I was seen playing there, and they just said, "Oh, you need to come and play even just a song or two at the Bluebird." And I was like, "The Bluebird?" Like everything's so casual. It's like, "Oh yeah, come on in." And it's like, this is our dream. I've watched the TV show Nashville. Taylor Swift was founded here. All our favorite people ever have played there, and I had three incredible moments in Nashville that I will forever remember for the rest of my life. One was the Bluebird, and just you could hear a pin drop, and every lyric was listened to, and honestly, you could feel history. I know people say that, but the Bluebird and the Grand Ole Opry. The Grand Ole Opry is probably my all-time favorite venue in the world. I get goosebumps watching anyone, like just walking in, and that was my second favorite moment. Was I was invited to Carrie Underwood's Grand Ole Opry anniversary. So I got to go through the artist section, and then I was invited to sit on the Grand Ole Opry stage while she performed, mind-blowing. And then I caught up with her backstage, and she's as beautiful as you would imagine. Like she just asked about Australia and my artistry, and beautiful. And then my third is my other all-time favorite icon in Patsy Cline. And I used to sing her songs in the talent searches, and obviously she passed away at a young age. But I was singing in Nashville, and a lady came up to me and said, "Hey, do you mind if I message you tomorrow? I've got this idea for something I'd love you to be a part of." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no worries, sounds great. Who knows in Nashville what's going to happen?" And I was invited to be the special guest for the Patsy Cline crazy documentary premiere in front of Patsy's family, and then was catching up with her daughter afterwards about everything and her legacy with Patsy Cline and whatnot. And I'm just thinking, these three moments alone, I would die a happy girl. Like it's just like you just these are stories you say like happen in the movies. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, how does this continually happen? But that's Nashville for you. And this is what I mean.
That's
my favorite
amazing.
saying is plant yourself where you want to grow. And so that's exactly what I'm trying to do. And these things are coming because I'm so lucky.
Lucky to be born Queenslander, mate. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's that.
Freedom strong here.
It's fertility of the Mackay soil.
Lucky,
Lucky
Rossi wasn't on tonight. Actually, being a blue.
Him and my dad can hang out.
Oh, is your dad a blue? Oh no,
he's in New South Wales, born and bred.
Ah, well.
No, it makes for an entertaining state of origin. I
He
love it.
figured out where to go first to make you. So, he's
Yeah,
done all right.
Mm. All right. So, Brittany, normally the last show for us for the podcast of every year is our award show where we sort of do interview of the year and song of the year and whatnot. And I was thinking about it today, and I reckon you've got Curly Song of the Year with Hi It's Me.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Jeez, Curly.
That's a
last
big
year,
deal. A whole year.
Lizzie Jack and the Beanstalks got it last year.
Oh, they've been
We've,
shafted, Lizzie Jack and the Beanstalks.
They've been pushed aside for Hi It's Me. And just as I hope I haven't put the jinx on you, because I did say Lizzie Jack were also going to be the breakout artist of the year in 2024, and they said,
No, Curly,
we're taking a bit of a break. So,
Oh.
Brittany, I hope I haven't jinxed you, but yeah, definitely
the
in
kiss of
my
death.
eyes.
I was going to say shout out to the boys at the Grand Ole Opry. So no, we're going big or home.
Yeah, shout out to the boys. So
it's going to happen soon, Curly.
Yeah. I think, the music I've certainly been listening to, I've been loving, and you certainly deserve every success. You're playing at Tamworth, you're playing at Central Queensland, Dysart, Blackwater. You're back in Mackay at Hay Point. That's Mackay, isn't it? Hay Point?
Yeah, just outside of, but yeah.
Back in March. And then I take it you're going to be alternating once again between here and Nashville. So how can people follow you, listen to your music? What's the best place to go to?
Yeah, totally. Brittany Elise music on all platforms. So streaming, social media, you can find it there. But BrittanyElisemusic.com is a one-stop shop for my website. Merchandise, tour dates.
It's a good website.
Telling my story. We've really fine-tuned everything in 2024 because we're ready for a huge 2025. So as well, obviously, the tour that we're currently on in Australia.
Yeah.
Cool.
You certainly deserve every success, and I know that your music's actually going to change a lot of people's lives. So that's something not to be sneezed at. And it's been an awesome pleasure speaking with you today. I told Braggy before we came on, I'm looking forward to this one because it's not often something goes on high rotation. I'll listen to it and I like it and I love it, but Hi It's Me just grabbed me straight away. So it's been awesome getting to know you. Now, for everyone else, this is our final show of the year. We're looking forward to 2025 as well as Brittany is. We've got ups and downs, and Brittany's probably saying, who are they? They are doing their 40th anniversary tour in March with a band called the Crystal Set. So going back to the mid-'80s, two of the Power Paisley, Power Pomp bands that were around at that time. So we're talking with them probably potentially in our first show back. As always, we've got our links in the show notes, and we've got a link page where everyone can follow us on socials and YouTube and TikTok. Brittany's music's been added to the Unfiltered and Undiscovered playlists on Spotify, as well as the Fresh and Fierce Unfiltered Country Female Artists playlist. So you can check them out. Once again, thank you to everyone for your ongoing support, and thank you so much, Brittany. Braggy, have yourself a very Merry Christmas.
I will do.
And I hope that the 20 people on Boxing Day play good cricket in the backyard, and you get to enjoy some time. Braggy's been working, everyone, and his knees are cactus. So
you say it's such a surprise, Curly, that I've actually been working.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Brittany, and we will see everyone next year. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for your support always.
Dear Diary, when I grow up, I want to be
and the crowd goes absolutely
a soccer player.
Hi, it's me, the one you thought would never be. Still out there running slow and steady. Couldn't see the spark, my fighter's heart. Hi, it's me, one that got to prove you wrong, and kept on rising through